Hello. So today I want to bring up this topic of religion. Is it dangerous? And and more specifically, Christianity. How much of a danger are we to ourselves and to our communities? Um, this is a idea that's being bandied about by so many people now that religious people, especially Christians, are a danger to society, and society would be much better off without them. And so I find that a very fascinating topic of discussion. And if you don't mind me just indulging myself for just a few moments, I like to talk about it. Uh, uh, some people look at religion as being, a form of trauma in their life. Religion traumatizes me. Christianity has traumatized me. Uh, I was I went to church, and church taught me certain things that were traumatic to me. And so when you boil it down, you find out what was really traumatic to them was being told what to do. That they don't want to be told anything right and wrong. They want to determine that themselves. They want to be their own masters of the universe. Well, I can understand that. That's a very big temptation for all mankind. It goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve sinned. They wanted to be the masters of their universe. They wanted to partake of fruit that God said, you'd be better off to leave that alone. Uh, we have to look at things in light of, are those things God forbids us to do in our best interest? Is he looking out for our good? Or is he doing it because he's just a really mean ogre and he doesn't want me to enjoy life? The facts are, over and over again, science, psychology has backed up the Bible in proving that many of the behaviors or the acts that God says we really need to avoid are actually in our best interests, psychologically, physically, emotionally, and of course spiritually. It's in our best interest. So I find it really strange, even anybody would even argue that these things God tells us not to do or to do, somehow that's traumatic. One person mentioned on a forum that when they were growing up in church, they watched films about the end times, the Antichrist. People were beheaded, and it was so traumatic. It caused me great pain, and woe is me. I had to be subjected to that kind of nonsense growing up, and all the damage it's done to me mentally and psychologically. Are you kidding me? Right? Is this a joke? I'm saying this from a pastoral perspective because these same people will spend hard-earned cash to go to the cinema. Now, they don't say the cinema's evil. They don't say the cinema's caused them harm. They don't say that Hollywood has damaged them anyway. But they'll spend hard-earned money to go watch Freddy Krueger, Jason, and all these horror movies where people butcher one another, literally, every moment through the movie. And they call that entertainment. Now, how do you get entertainment there, but trauma over here at church because they have depicted in a movie things that were written thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago. The book of Daniel, 2,500 plus years ago. So, these stories, if you want to call them that, have been around a long, long time, traumatizing people, if you want to put it that way. So, if we're so damaged, how did humanity survive this long with these fairy tales? I mean, how did we make it to this point? They can't answer those questions, because they know they're bogus. What really it boils down to is people don't want to be told what to do. People, not by religion. Now, they don't mind the government telling them. That's fine. Government can be their God. That's okay. So it's amazing to me. They pick and choose who gets to tell them what, who gets to dictate their life. You know, I read comments like, "You, this is why I left church because they had rules, or because the church said this was dangerous, or because the church doesn't agree with this practice, or the church said we should be careful about this." And I'm like, really? That's why you left church, huh? Did you leave the doctor's office when he told you to quit smoking? Did you leave the doctor's office when he told you, you need to drop 25 pounds or you're going to have a heart attack? I mean, you use your common sense here. Ask yourself, is what the church or the Bible, is what it taught, did it bring some kind of harm to your life? I'm amazed by this idea that somehow Christianity is so bad that we need to rid the world of it. Because this idea of loving thy neighbor as thyself and loving the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength, which Jesus said the entire law is wrapped up in those two things right there. That's it. And somehow that's dangerous to humanity and to ourselves. Really? Okay. So I want to take their logic and twist it around their head and ask these questions. Why is Freddy Krueger okay, but tribulation movies are bad? Why didn't Freddy Krueger damage you psychologically? Have you not ever heard of copycatters, that run out here and mimic what they see in films? But somehow it's okay. Hollywood's not a danger to anybody, right? But the Christian is, churches are trying to warn people of what the Bible says is to come. So we don't have to prove anything. We're just telling you what the book says. And you can believe it or disbelieve it. It doesn't make any difference. We're just out here trying to tell people, look, this stuff is coming. And we're trying to warn you because we love you, not because we have some vendetta against you, not because we don't like you. We all, as a Christian, our point is this. We want you to make it. We want you to be the best version of what God created you to be that you can become. That's all God ever wants out of you. He wants the very best for your life. He knows the pitfalls. He knows. Look, I didn't let my kids run out in the road and play. Why? Because I knew there was dangers out there. There's Mack trucks running up and down the road. There's vehicles in the road. They're driving at a crazy speeds. Why would I let Junior run around in the road and play? And then some neighbors say, well, you're crazy for, that's traumatic telling him not to play in the road. How could you? Who do you think you are? What kind of parent would I be to just let Johnny run around in the road, and not say anything, knowing the dangers, knowing the pitfalls, and knowing listen, we're without excuse. We have science now. We even have psychology. We have everything pointing to the fact that many of the things God said are harmful to us are indeed that. So what best interest do these people have by telling me that I'm dangerous? By telling the church that we're off our rocker and that we're causing trauma. What best interest do they have? Because they have to replace it with something. What are they going to replace it with? Lawlessness? Do as you will? You see, that's the essence of Satanism, is do as thou wilt. And that's what these people want to promote in the world, is do what feels good, do what you want to do. It doesn't matter what God says. Well, we're going to suffer the consequences because we've had 6,000 years of human history, and it's been recorded over and over and over again what effects these behaviors cause on societies. The atheists will say, how much better society would be if everyone was an atheist. If everyone rejected God, how much more brilliant we would all become. Because I heard an atheist the other day make the comment, religion has dumbed down the masses. Okay, I'm going to take you at face value. So we're all idiots. Would you want to live in a world where all of the inventions and all of the sciences and all of the technology that's been created by people of faith that believe in God, let's remove all of that from society and only bring out what has been accomplished by the atheists? Do you want to live in that world? I want to ask you that, just point blank, because you say it would be so much farther advanced and better. Would we even have electricity? Would we have running water? Would we have the wheel? what would we have left if we were to rely on them to give us all this great technology that they promise? See, these are empty words. If you take God from the equation, somehow everything will be magically so much more superior. Really? How so? How so? And it's not that this ideology hasn't been tried before. Look at other countries that's tried it. Look at the countries that have tried the atheistic ideology and forced it upon their people by force. And they stripped their societies of all religion, or tried. It's a miserable failure, but they tried. So, can you show me this bastion, this petri dish, this experiment where this works, where we have this bastion of great technology, great knowledge, great, advancement of humankind? The old Soviet Union? Is that your, China? Is that your example of this great bastion of technology? It's laughable, folks. Really think about it. It's laughable when we think about where we are and where we would be without men and women who have had faith in God or even some kind of created being. They have done wonderful things for this planet. And to think, that we would be so much farther advanced without them just blows my mind. So it's just the hubris, the ego of these people is quite fascinating to me. It's, from a psychological standpoint, it's humorous. And so how do you feel about all this? All these arguments, how dangerous are we people? The people of belief and faith and Christianity and, even you Muslims, believe in one God. And we're a huge chunk. You put us all together, Judeo-Christianity, Judaism, Muslim. You put us all the monotheistic religions together, we're a huge chunk of this society that we dwell in. Where would the world be without us? It's a good question. And how much better off would it be? I want you to answer that in the description. Do you think we'd be better off? Do you think the world would be a great, grand, and wonderful place without us? The world's going to find out in short order what it's going to be like without Christians. And they're going to have a period of time to figure out how wonderful that is. And all I can say is, good luck.